And straight to the matter, we'll discuss it next in this hour. Story is captioned, Court rejects Ndume's plea to withdraw as Maina's shorty. The Abuja Division of the Federal High Court on Monday rejected an application the senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, found to be discharged as a shorty in the ongoing trial of the former chairman of the defunct Pension Reform Task Team, Abdul Rashid Maina. Ndume spent 5 days at the Kuje Correctional Center after Maina jumped bail, and had in the application he filed through his lawyer, Marcel Uru, begged the court to allow him to pull out from the case. He described Maina's action that led to his detention as highly despicable. However, Justice Okone Abang held that the trial court has lost the jurisdiction to grant the request. Justice Okone held that his court had become a functus officio on the issue, considering that the lawmaker had earlier gone to the Court of Appeal to challenge a ruling that ordered him to forfeit the 500 million naira bail bond he signed on behalf of the former pension reform boss. Justice Abang said, and I quote, where an appeal has been filed, every application will be made before the Court of Appeal. Therefore, any issue can only be entertained by the Court of Appeal. Maina is answering to a 12-count charge alongside his firm over his alleged involvement in money laundering to the tune of 2 billion naira. Also, the EFCC alleges Maina equally stole over 14 billion naira from the federal pension account using names of fake pensioners and non-existent biometric contracts. The agency told the court the ex-pension reform boss used fictitious names to open and operate various bank accounts, as well as recruited his relatives that were bankers to operate fake bank accounts through which illicit funds were channeled, adding that he used part of the stolen funds to acquire landed properties in Abuja. Meanwhile, midway into the trial, Maina jumped bail and escaped from the country. And though the court okayed his trial in absentia and issued an arrest warrant for him, Maina was subsequently rearrested in the Niger Republic and returned to the country on December 4, 2020. The court has, in the absence of the defendant, remanded his shorty Ndume in prison custody. Now, the court initially held that Ndume should either produce Maina for the continuation of his trial or forfeit the 500 million naira bail bond. Alternatively, it directed the sale of Ndume's property situated at Asokoro in Abuja to raise the 500 million naira it said should be paid into the Federation account. And after he regained his freedom on November 27, 2020, Ndume applied to withdraw from the case. He told the court he only met Maina once in his life before he decided to stand as a shorty, being the lawmaker that represents his constituency. Ndume said he was pressurized to stand shorty for the defendant by 3 former governors he met at the Kuje Correctional Center when he went to visit Maina after he was reported sick. As the senator serving him, quoting Ndume now, his family, wife, mother, and uncle appealed to me to stand as shorty. I went to prison to confirm myself whether he was actually sick, and the prison officials told me he was actually sick and appealed to me to be shorty so that he could have access to medical attention. Oji Kalu, when he was in prison then, Joshua Darie, former governor of Taraba, Reverend Jolly Nyame, all appealed to me in the prison to assist him. It took me 8 months, my lord, to take that decision. In fact, I have to be given an indemnity by his uncle, signed by me, him, and the lawyer, that Maina would always be in court. Which is one of the professional hazards we face as lawmakers, representing the good, the bad, and the ugly. If I was not a serving senator, I wouldn't have cause to stand as shorty. I'm helpless before you, my lord. I appeal that such innocent citizens like me holding public office for over 1 million people should not be subjected to this. Anyways, that's the story. So we'll be considering this matter right now. Several talking points here, really. And my guest who's joined me via phone for this conversation, past chairman, Nigeria Bar Association, Amok Branch, also associate professor of public law at the River State University, Barrister Ritchard Wokocha. Barrister Wokocha, good evening to you. You're welcome to Hard Facts.
Good evening, Dayo, and good evening, Nigeria.
All right, so several matters, like I said. For example, is it safe to stand shorty for someone who is, undergoing trial in court? But we start with the issue of shorty, Barrister. What does it mean for an individual to stand shorty for another person who is being tried in court?
What it means you are standing as guarantor, assuring the court that you will ensure that the person, if released to you on bail, will be available at all times the court needs to see to stand his trial. You do that pledging that if you do not produce him at the time he wanted to come and stand trial, you will face a DC penalty, whatever is the terms of the bail when it's granted by the court. You undertake to meet the terms of the bail or to proceed whatever the court says is the collateral for taking him on bail. So if the bail was granted the specific sum of 500 million, it means you're undertaking to pass with 500 million. If he fails to come back to stand trial. So in this case, I think it was a 500 million term, and consequence would have been that Ndume will have to pay 500 million naira to Nigerians for failing to produce the person.
Is everyone qualified? Is everyone qualified to stand surety for someone who is being tried in court?
Everyone is every adult is qualified to stand surety, subject to what the court may see. So if the court describes a particular kind of person, then you have to get that kind of person. If the court says a lawmaker, it has to be a lawmaker. If it says any lawmaker, you can get anyone. If it says lawmaker at the National Assembly, then it must be somebody from the National Assembly. Sometimes, most of the time, the court insists a person with landed property. In all of this, the court is looking for a reasonable person who will not also escape. So the court will want to have somebody whom is has some assurance is unlikely to run away. That's why the court fixes those terms and conditions. So that one who meets the terms gives some measure of assurance to the court that they will not be running away. That's why the court wants a qualified person. So where the court qualifies the person who has to take a person on bail, the person to take him on bail must therefore meet that qualification before the administrator has made the bail term. Otherwise, every adult is a qualified person.
All right, we'll come back to this in a moment. We have to go for a commercial break right now. The headline's 5:30 as well. Court rejects Ndume's plea to withdraw as Maina surety. More when we return. Deeply stay tuned.
Keeping up with political issues and developments around you only on Nigeria Info.
What we do goes beyond bringing you the news. We give you a chance to talk about it. Your opinion, your voice.
This is 92.3 Nigeria Info, Port Harcourt.
Your number one news, talk, and sports radio station.
Headline News, Nigeria Info on
92.3.
Headline News.
Good evening, I am Constance Mega with the news. Eche Council Chairman Obinna Anyanwu denies masterminding attack on leader of Eche Legislative Assembly, Cynthia Nwala. Senate Minority Leader Enyinaya Abaribe says there are other separatist groups in Southeast region other than IPOB. Okrika Council Chairman says only casualty from Isaka jetty collapse was 4-year-old girl. President Buhari to present 2022 budgets to National Assembly on Thursday. Federal government denies treating bandits with leniency. World marks Teachers' Day. On the foreign scene, new inquiry finds over 200 children, mostly boys, were sexually abused by clergy in French Catholic Church since 1950. Facebook whistleblower Frances Hogan testifies at Internet Safety U.S. Senate hearing. And in business, NAFDAC warns against eating frozen poultry products preserved with formalin. In entertainment, Paris Fashion Week wraps up after 9 days of innovative experiments. And in sports, Kenya confirms bid to host 2025 Athletics World Championship. Now, those are the headlines. Contact our newsroom on 0818 900 0017. For more stories, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Thank you for listening.
Our freedom depends on our proactive responsibilities.
Let's talk, act, and be about development.
With one voice, our potential is realized.
This is your number one news, talk, and sports radio station. 92.3 Nigeria Info.
I am listening.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
When knowledge meets action, information liberates.
How informed do you need to be to thrive in a fast-changing world?
Listen to experts only.
Keep your dial locked on 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of news, talk, and sports 24/7.
I am listening. Are you?
And now, Hard Facts.
Hard Facts with Dion.
Welcome back. Still Hard Fact to 90.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. 27 minutes to go before 6 o'clock when the major news comes up. Discussions continue, however. Court rejecting Ndume's plea to withdraw as Maina surety. Barrister Wokocha joins me for that conversation. Barrister Wokocha, you're welcome once again.
Thank you, Dario.
Now, I asked before the break who is qualified to be a surety. Your response was any adult, even though sometimes the court would spell out certain extra conditions as to what kind of adult, whether the person has to be a civil servant or a senator, or somebody with landed property and other such descriptives. But for a person to, how about for a person to decide to stand surety for someone, in law, are there things that person should look out for or things that person should consider? Because in filing his application, Senator Ndume says he only ever met Maina once. Now, if he says he only ever met him once, I think it's safe to say that that means he doesn't know the man. or at least know him that well to have met him only once. And he also says that he was pressured into standing shorty for him by his uncle, by his sister, I think. That's talking about Maina. Also, he was pressured by 3 ex-governors as well. Is that reason enough to stand shorty for a person, or are there other things one should look out for?
First consideration for accepting to stand shorty for somebody is to be sure that the person is a person whose character you can vouch for, because that's what standing shorty means. You are assuring the court. You are assuring the court. You are sure, and you are assuring the court that the person will keep his word and will come up for trial. So the first thing is you are having confidence in the character of the person, and you are being comfortable with the fact that you know this person will keep his word. So once you are not sure of the character of the person, you are taking a high risk to stand shorty for such a person. It's a high risk venture, and it's something you should do only for somebody whose character you can vouch for, and a person whose word you can vouch for. It is done, it is law. And so once you don't have that assurance, you are simply taking an open risk to stand shorty for somebody.
Oh, no, I mean, even though you might know someone and you feel that you can, guarantee the person's behavior. I mean, people change. So is it safe then for anyone to stand shorty? Is it advisable for anyone to stand shorty for another person in court? Because, I mean, even the person you've known all your life could, for whatever reason, alter their behavior.
Yeah, that's why we say you have to be sure of the person. What you need to be sure of is that it's not a person of unstable character who can change his decision easily. Otherwise, you don't need to stand shorty for him. Once you can't speak for the certainty that then, and you will not change his position. On those basic principles of principle, you should be able to know where a person stands before you take their risk. Otherwise, you are just taking an open risk. So once you can't tell that he will not participate and change and run away, so you don't try it. Because you're getting yourself into trouble.
Okay, so in this particular case, Senator Ndume signed a 500 million naira bail bond. What does that mean exactly? Has he parted with 500 million naira already, or is he to provide the 500 million in the event that Maina did not show up? And did the court verify that he actually has 500 million naira to part with in the event that Maina jumps bail?
What it means is that I am undertaking that if I do not produce Maina to come and stand trial, or if Maina runs away after I ask the court to release him to me on bail, I will pay the state 500 million naira. The court must have had in mind this assurance for insisting that it has to be a senator that will stand bail. The take home of a senator over the years, I'm sure the court knows is enough to cover that bail term. Again, the court asked in addition that the person should own a building in a particular part of Abuja. And I'm sure that the building in that part of Abuja, they just costly enough to cost 500 million naira. So it is to ensure that it's the person who can meet the bail, who can meet the consequences of a breach of the bail bond, that the court should those extra conditions. So if you own a house, as Mr. aware that is mentioned in the, and you are a senator, what senator in, definitely you get to the terms of the bail done by the terms and breach. So that's why the court has those additional things. By the time you put them together, you have somebody who can meet the 500 million naira requirement.
In the event that the person who is standing shortly for jumps bail, what happens then? Because what I'm asking is this: did the court certify? Okay, so you're saying that the court expects him to have that amount, considering how much a senator earns over a period of time. But what if, for whatever reason,
and considering that the person has to have a house where the court says such a house must be somewhere close to the range of that 500 million. Together with his salary as a senator. They're not.
So
that is what informs court giving those extra conditions.
So does the court carry out evaluation of properties in different areas to know how much the properties there should be worth?
Well, the officers will usually carry out that. Even in ordinary cases involving ordinary people, where there is conditions for owning a house, you must show the CFO and all that, or title deed to the house. The police is expected to verify all that before the deal is perfected. So yes, in the course of the process, such verifications are made. And of course, as I said, the meaning is that if you fail to produce it, you will lose that amount. You will pass with that amount. That is why, in this very case, you have the court giving an option of selling off the house. This particular, they are selling off the house to meet the 500 million naira requirement.
Now, in this case, the person who was stood shorty for jumped bail, and then Senator Ndume, who was standing shorty for him, was arrested. He spent some days at the Kuje Correctional Facility. Maina was later reapprehended in Niger Republic, brought back to the country, has resumed his trial. And Senator Ndume is not saying, I don't want to be this man shorty any longer. Why is there a problem with that right now? Because, I mean, the person who was standing shorty for is back in custody. Should his shorty then persist? Should that continue?
Oh, then not really. It's a matter of right. I mean, Senator Ndume would have ordinarily been able to get himself off. It's a question of his entitlement. What has happened, as the court explained, is that the matter has gone beyond that court. And so the court can no longer grant that his request. Look at it this way. As we speak, there is a pending matter at the Court of Appeal in which Maina is saying the ruling of the High Court, the Federal High Court, is wrong. Revisit it, change it. That question is before the Court of Appeal. Now, if this court grants this prayer now from Maina, what it means is that it has altered the status of the parties that are before the Court of Appeal, and it has swept the case off the seat of the Court of Appeal. Because automatically the Court of Appeal is now dealing with a dead matter. Maina is no longer a shorty who is seeking alteration of orders made against him. You have changed the status to a free man who is not standing on shorty. So there is nothing the Court of Appeal is dealing with. Everybody before the court has a responsibility to ensure that the right issue before the court is preserved and that nobody alters the status of the parties before the court. That's why it is package staff while you are in court with the staff arguing over conditions of service or anything. The court will reverse what you have done, but they are attempting to change the status of the parties before the court. So that's what the court was explaining, that it can no longer grant this prayer now. Why there is this question before the Court of Appeal over the decision that was taken, ruling that was made by that very.
But the rearrest of Maina does not automatically negate the decision of the High Court, thereby rendering the appeal no longer necessary. Because the reason the High Court took that decision in the first place was because Maina had jumped bail. Senator Ndume, who is a shorty, was arrested, and he was asked to either produce Maina or forfeit the bail bond. Maina has been rearrested. He's now in custody. Does not automatically negate the order for him to either produce Maina or forfeit the $500 million naira bail bond, and as such also negates the necessity of any appeal in the first place.
No, it does not automatically negate everything. They might still have the safety, and the safety is still in Ndume. Ndume will need leave of court to be excused. for Maina to look for another surety before he can be granted bail.
Why does he still need a surety now? Pardon me, barrister. Why does he still need a surety now? He's in custody at the moment. Why would he need a surety?
Yes. If he will need to be free again and to attend the trial from home, he will need a surety. But in any case, right now, we have a surety on record. So that surety has to be officially removed from the record. Those steps are the steps that Ndume has taken, which is now affected by the other pending issue. Now, the matter at the Court of Appeal does not just die off because Maina has been arrested. For instance, at the moment, Ndume can withdraw his appeal. If he does that, then the court, before which Maina has been arrested and kept in custody, will now have the jurisdiction to make the order or grant the order is vain. But while the matter is beyond that court, before a superior court, that court cannot do anything to negate what is before the Court of Appeal. So Maina has options. Ndume has options. They can continue the appeal, withdraw the appeal, come back with this prayer before the court, and the court will have the decision to grant it. So right now it will be an affront on the Court of Appeal for the court to do so, thereby taking off what is before the Court of Appeal.
All right. So at this juncture, we'll take a few thoughts right now. You're welcome to express your thoughts in this, any comments, questions, possibly. The numbers are the same. Lines are open. 0817 93 000.